We carry an invisible weight of expectations every single day. This constant pressure to meet imagined outcomes drains our energy and steals our peace. But what if you could lighten that load, not by changing the world, but by changing your relationship with your own hopes? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a timeless path to do exactly that. The Stoic thinker Epictetus once shared that happiness depends not on what happens, but on our view of what happens. This single idea is the key to unlocking a profound sense of inner ease. In this exploration, we will uncover the core Stoic principles that teach us how to work with our expectations. You will learn practical ways to ease disappointment before it begins and cultivate a resilient calm that life's changes cannot disturb. We will look at why our minds so often resist reality and how a simple shift in perspective can turn challenges into opportunities. What is one expectation you are holding onto right now that might be quietly causing you stress? That invisible weight you carry is often just a collection of things you were never meant to control in the first place. This brings us to the very bedrock of Stoic practice, the dichotomy of control. It is a simple but radical idea that asks you to make one clear distinction: what is truly within your power and what is not. Think for a moment about the things that cause you the most anxiety. Are they your own thoughts and actions, or are they external events, the behaviors of others, the final outcomes of your efforts? The Stoic teacher Epictetus begins his manual, the Enchiridion, with this exact point. He states that some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Our own judgments, our impulses, our desires, and our aversions are within our sphere of power. Everything else, from our reputation to our health to whether we get that promotion, is not entirely our own. The difficult feelings we experience, the constant churn of disappointment, almost always spring from a single error. We expect to command the uncontrollable. We invest our hope in the weather, in the traffic, in the moods of other people, and then we feel let down when reality does not bend to our will. Imagine you are driving to an important meeting. You can control leaving early, planning your route, and driving safely. You cannot control a sudden accident that brings traffic to a standstill. The expectation that your journey should be smooth is the source of your frustration, not the traffic itself. Your peace is lost the moment you demand that the world outside your command conforms to your wishes. So take a quiet moment and ask yourself this: what is one expectation I am holding right now that falls entirely outside the realm of my control? Is it the expectation for a certain person to treat you fairly? Is it the expectation for a project to be an unquestionable success? Simply identifying this expectation is the first, most powerful step toward releasing its hold over you. What if every obstacle was seen not as a barrier, but as the very material you need to build a stronger life? This is the heart of Amor Fati, a Latin phrase that translates to a love of one's fate. It is the Stoic art of embracing reality exactly as it arrives without resistance. While the dichotomy of control helps us identify what we can release, Amor Fati gives us a powerful new way to hold what remains. It asks you to transform your relationship with the unforeseen, to welcome every outcome as if you had chosen it yourself. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who navigated immense personal and political challenges, wrote in his private journal, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This is the essence of Amor Fati. It is not passive resignation, but an active, creative engagement with life. It is the decision to make light from the fuel you are given, even when that fuel feels like disappointment or hardship. Consider the story of the philosopher Zeno of Citium. He was a wealthy merchant who lost everything in a shipwreck. Arriving in Athens with nothing, he wandered into a bookshop and was introduced to the teachings of Socrates. This unexpected turn, this complete shift in his life's direction, became the catalyst for him to found the school of Stoicism. What seemed like an ending was, in fact, the necessary beginning of his true purpose. He did not merely endure his fate, he embraced it, and in doing so, he changed the course of Western thought. Now bring this home to your own experience. Think of a recent disappointment, a plan that fell through, a result that was not what you wanted. What if you viewed that event not as a failure, but as essential material? What if it was the exact thing you needed to learn a vital lesson, to develop a new strength, or to be redirected toward a better path? Amor Fati invites you to stop fighting the current of life and to start swimming with it, discovering a profound ease you never knew was possible when you were struggling against the stream. This ancient rehearsal for adversity is called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. It sounds serious, yet it is one of the most liberating exercises in the Stoic toolkit. It is not about expecting hardship to happen, but about softening its impact by familiarizing yourself with the possibility. The Roman philosopher Seneca advised his friend Lucilius to spend some days in the most humble mode of life, with the scantiest food and rough clothing, and then ask himself, is this the condition I used to dread? He was not promoting a life of fear, but one of profound preparedness. By mentally walking through potential setbacks, you are not inviting them. You are strengthening your mind against the shock of surprise. You are building a reservoir of calm for when things do not unfold as you hoped. Think of it like a fire drill. You practice the route not because you expect a fire, but so that if the alarm ever sounds, you do not freeze. Your body knows the way and your mind remains clear. Now apply this to your own life. Perhaps you have a challenging conversation ahead with a loved one or a colleague. Instead of hoping it will go perfectly, spend a few moments considering how you might respond with grace if the discussion becomes difficult. What if your proposal is met with resistance? What if your project faces an unexpected delay? By rehearsing these scenarios in your mind, you are not being negative. You are fortifying your equanimity, your inner steadiness. When you have already accepted a potential outcome in your mind, its arrival in reality holds far less power to disrupt your peace. So what is one future challenge you can mentally rehearse accepting with equanimity today? It is not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. This simple statement holds a profound truth at the center of Stoic thought. Every event we encounter is, in its raw form, neutral. It carries no inherent emotional weight. The meaning, the distress, the joy, we assign those labels ourselves through a process the Stoics called judgment and assent. Your expectations are often just a collection of unchecked judgments running on autopilot. The teacher Epictetus offered a powerful illustration of this. He said, remember that it is not the person who insults you or strikes you who harms you, but your judgment that they are harming you. The event itself is just an event. Your judgment that it is a terrible personal offense is what creates the inner turmoil. Consider a rainy day that cancels your outdoor plans. You can judge this as a frustrating setback, and your entire mood will sour. Or you can judge it as a welcome invitation to slow down, to enjoy a quiet afternoon indoors with a book or a warm drink. The rain has not changed, only your interpretation of it has. This is the power of perception you hold. Your mind has the final say in what any event means for your peace. Think of a recent minor irritation, perhaps a long line at the store or an unexpected task. What was your immediate judgment? That this was an unwelcome intrusion on your valuable time. Now consider an alternative judgment, that this delay is a forced moment of pause, an opportunity to practice patience, or simply a neutral fact of life? How would that shift in perception have changed your emotional state? By questioning your automatic judgments, you begin to disarm the expectations that so often lead to disappointment. You start to see that the world does not disturb you. You disturb yourself by your view of the world. This realization is the gateway to a truly resilient calm. Your current worry, held so tightly in your mind, begins to shrink when seen from a great distance. This is the power of the view from above, a Stoic mental exercise that shifts your entire perspective. It invites you to pull back the camera of your awareness far beyond the walls of your room, past the clouds, until you see the whole earth as a solitary sphere in the vast, silent expanse of space. From this cosmic vantage point, the urgent expectation causing you stress today is revealed in its true proportion. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius regularly practiced this in his meditations. He would remind himself to look at things in their entirety, to observe the fleeting nature of all human affairs, and to see his own life as a mere pinpoint in the immense flow of time. He was not diminishing his responsibilities, but rather placing them within a grander context that fostered both humility and a profound sense of peace. Your concern about a missed deadline or a social moment loses its sharp edge when viewed against the backdrop of oceans, continents, and centuries. Try it now with a specific expectation that feels heavy. Visualize the situation that preoccupies you. Now, in your mind's eye, rise above it. See the building you are in, then the city, then the country, until the entire world is a blue and white marble below you. From here, how significant is that single outcome you were so attached to? This practice does not make your life meaningless. It does the opposite. It frees you from the weight of minor dramas, allowing you to devote your energy to what truly matters with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. The next time an expectation threatens to overwhelm you, remember you have this power to zoom out, see your place in the cosmos, and find the quiet ease that comes from knowing you are a small, yet integral part of an astonishing whole. Our deepest desires shape the landscape of our expectations. What is it you truly want from your efforts, from your relationships, from your life? The Stoics proposed a thoughtful filter for our wants, drawing a clear line between desires that lead to freedom and those that can lead to frustration. They called this the discipline of desire and aversion, focusing your longing only on what is good and within your power, and turning your attention away only from what is harmful. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote with striking clarity about the endless chase for things outside ourselves. He said, "What difference does it make how much is stored away in a person's safe or in their storerooms, how many animals they keep or how much money they invest, if they are always reaching for what belongs to others and only count what they still wish to gain, not what they already hold?" This is the challenge of wanting wealth or renown. The wanting itself becomes a cycle, creating an expectation that the next gain will finally bring peace, an expectation that is never quite fulfilled. Consider your own motivations in a common situation. You have a project at work. One desire is for the outside reward, the appreciation from your manager, the acknowledgement from your colleagues. This is a desire for an outcome you do not fully control. Another desire is simply to do your finest work, to act with care, honesty, and ability. This is a desire for a worthy action, which is completely within your own hands. The first desire can create difficulty. If the appreciation does not arrive, you may feel let down. The second desire strengthens you. No matter the result, you have the quiet satisfaction of knowing you acted with excellence. The expectation for a particular outside outcome is replaced by the steady awareness of your own sincere effort. So pause and reflect on a desire you are holding right now. Look at it closely and ask yourself with gentle honesty, Is this desire supporting my better nature, or is it feeding my pride? Is it a wish for something I can truly guide, like my own effort and character, or is it a wish for a certain response from the world that may not arrive? Every time you align your desire with what is genuinely your own, you take energy away from a future letdown and place it into a present, steady calm. We have explored the power of perception and the freedom of a cosmic view, but how do we actually move through our days? How do we act in a world that so often fails to meet our hopes? The Stoics offer a compass for this very journey, the discipline of action. This principle asks you to align your efforts with reason and the common good, focusing entirely on the virtue of your action itself, not the reward you expect to receive from it. The ancient phrase for this is acting according to nature. In our modern context, this does not mean living in the woods. It means acting in harmony with your highest human capacities, your ability to reason, to be just, and to contribute to the well-being of others. It is about playing your part in the human community with integrity, regardless of the applause or the outcome. When your primary goal shifts from getting a specific result to performing a right action, a profound shift occurs. The frustration that blooms when the world does not deliver what you expected simply cannot take root. Your satisfaction is no longer outsourced to an uncertain future. It is built into the very act of doing your best. Marcus Aurelius, who carried the immense duty of leading an empire, constantly reminded himself of this. He wrote, "You can commit a just action without any expectation of being famous for it, or even being known. Let the deed itself be enough. The action is its own completion." Consider a simple, everyday example. You see a colleague struggling with a heavy load, both literally or metaphorically. You step in to help. The old, expectation-laden approach would be to offer assistance while secretly hoping for a warm thank you, or for that person to think more highly of you. When that gratitude does not arrive in the way you imagined, a small seed of disappointment is planted. Now apply the discipline of action. Your only intention is to perform a kind and helpful act. You offer your support because it is the reasonable, good thing to do. The action is complete the moment you have done it. Whether your colleague is grateful, indifferent, or even annoyed, your peace remains untouched. The virtue was in the offering, not in the reception. So bring this to your own life right now. What is one small, good action you can take today, focusing solely on the integrity of the act itself? Perhaps it is completing a task with care, not for the praise, but for the dignity of doing it well. Maybe it is offering a genuine compliment without needing anything in return. In that simple, focused action, you will find a quiet freedom from the heavy weight of expectation. The future is an illusion, the present is all we have. You cannot grasp tomorrow, for it does not exist yet. You cannot change yesterday, for it is already gone. The only moment where your life is actually happening is this one. Stoicism gently reminds us that our peace is often sacrificed waiting for a time that has not arrived. Anxiety is almost always the interest we pay on a debt we may never owe, a life lived in the hypothetical space of what might be. Seneca observed this with piercing clarity, writing, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging the things that are in the hands of fortune and abandoning what is in your own." How many of our present moments are wasted, not in experiencing what is, but in fearing what could be? Your mind races ahead, crafting stories of potential difficulty or longing for a future satisfaction. And in that race, you miss the quiet reality of your own breath, the solid ground beneath your feet. This is not a call to abandon planning, but to release the emotional weight you attach to those plans. Planning is a present moment action. Worrying is a future-oriented phantom. To anchor yourself back into what is real, try a simple physical return. For just the next minute, notice the air moving in and out of your body. Feel the sensation of your chest rising and falling. You do not need to change your breathing, only to witness it. In this small act, you are not in the future. You are here. Your expectations about what comes next lose their grip when your attention is fully claimed by the alive and immediate present. So ask yourself with gentle honesty, what single expectation about the future can I release just for today to be more fully present in this hour, in this room, in this very breath? A quiet mind is not an empty one, but a clear one. This is the true meaning of apatheia, a term often mistaken for the cold indifference of apathy. For the Stoics, apatheia was the ultimate freedom, a state of inner serenity where your judgment is no longer clouded by the storms of irrational emotion. It is not the absence of feeling, but the absence of destructive turmoil. You achieve this not by shutting down, but by mastering the expectations that give those storms their power. Think of your mind as a still pond. An unchecked expectation is like a heavy stone tossed into the water, creating ripples of frustration, worry, or disappointment that distort your view of reality. Apatheia is the calm that remains when you simply stop throwing the stones. The Stoic sage, their ideal of a wise person, was someone who had achieved this. They experienced life fully, but their core remained unshaken because their peace was not tied to outcomes they could not command. Consider the expectation of a promotion you believe you have earned. When the announcement is made and your name is not called, a cascade of feeling can follow. There is the sharp sense of disappointment, the frustration toward the decision, perhaps the feeling of comparison with the colleague who succeeded. These are the very passions Stoicism seeks to free you from. They are not caused by the event itself, but by the unmet expectation you held so tightly. In a state of apatheia, your response is different. You feel the initial surprise, but then your trained mind engages. You assess the situation with clarity, not with reactive emotion. You might feel a natural sense of letdown, but it does not spiral into frustration or discouragement. You understand that the promotion was never yours to claim, only your excellent work was. This calm acceptance is not a weakness. It is the profound strength that allows you to learn from the experience and move forward with purpose, your inner compass still pointing true. So ask yourself now, what specific feeling tends to arise in you when a particular expectation goes unmet? Is it a simmering frustration when your plans are interrupted? Is it a gnawing concern when you await news you cannot control? Simply naming this connection between your expectation and your emotional response is the first step toward cultivating your own unshakable clarity. Life has a way of twisting the path just when we think we know the way. The Stoics called this the work of fortune, the undeniable role of chance and fate in every human story. This is not a call to pessimism, but a profound invitation to acknowledge the unpredictable nature of existence without bitterness. To expect the unexpected is to build a foundation of inner resilience that cannot be cracked by shifting circumstances. The teacher Epictetus put it with his characteristic directness. He said, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." This is the heart of acceptance, a welcoming of every event as a necessary thread in the tapestry of your life. History offers a powerful example in the Roman statesman Seneca. A man of immense wealth and influence, he faced repeated exiles and political upheavals and was ultimately ordered to take his own life by the Emperor Nero. Through it all, his writings reveal a man who practiced what he taught, maintaining a composed understanding that his station and even his life were not his to command, but only his character and his response. He accepted the twists of fortune without surrendering his inner dignity. Now, bring this into your own world. Think of a recent unexpected turn, a change you did not choose. How can you practice meeting the unpredictable nature of your own life with more grace? It begins by releasing the quiet demand that your journey should be free of detours. Each unforeseen event, each twist of fate, is not an interruption of your path, but the very substance of it. When you stop resenting the wind for changing direction, you learn to adjust your sails, finding a strength and a calm you never knew you possessed in the simple, steady act of acceptance. Memento Mori, remember you must die. This ancient phrase may seem stark, yet for the Stoics it was a gentle and persistent guide, a way to clarify what is truly important and release the expectations that do not serve a meaningful life. It is not a call to live in fear, but an invitation to live with profound awareness. Seneca explored this idea deeply in his essay on the shortness of life, writing, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." He observed that life is long enough if you know how to use it, but we so often squander our days on trivial worries and pursuits that hold no real value when viewed from a broader perspective. The Memento Mori practice is the ultimate tool for cutting through that noise. It asks you to hold the finite nature of your time as a focusing lens. When you truly internalize that your days are numbered, the expectations that once seemed so urgent begin to lose their power. The desire for a certain job title, the anxiety over a minor social slight, the relentless chase for more possessions, these concerns start to feel like distractions from the central question. How will you use the precious, limited time you have been given? Imagine a modern professional relentlessly chasing the next promotion, sacrificing sleep and personal peace for a future reward. They operate under the expectation that this achievement will finally grant them happiness and security. But what if they pause to truly consider the Memento Mori perspective? Would that specific title still feel so vital, or would the expectation shift toward wanting a life filled with more health, more connection, more present moment contentment? The reminder of our shared human journey does not diminish ambition, it refines it. It helps you align your efforts with what you genuinely value, not with what you feel you should want. So take a quiet breath and ask yourself this challenging yet liberating question. What single expectation would you immediately release if you fully embraced the truth that your time here is finite? Would you still worry so much about what others think of you? Would you still postpone that meaningful conversation or delay that creative project? By remembering the end, you are empowered to begin living fully, right now, with a heart unburdened by the weight of unimportant demands. There is a profound strength in choosing to be a little less comfortable. Stoic training often involved voluntary discomfort, a deliberate practice of embracing small hardships to fortify the mind against life's inevitable challenges. Think of it as strength training for your resilience. By occasionally saying no to a comfort you could easily have, you loosen its grip on your happiness. The Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus taught that enduring hardship voluntarily was essential for developing courage. He argued that someone accustomed to a soft life would be shaken by sudden misfortune, while one who practiced doing without would meet the same situation with steady calm. The Roman statesman Cato the Younger was known for this, often wearing simple, outdated clothing and walking barefoot in all weather, not for show, but to remind himself that he could be content without luxury. This practice is not about punishing yourself. It is about building a quiet confidence that your well-being does not depend on perfect conditions. You can try this in a simple, modern way. Choose to take a slightly cooler shower than usual, not to the point of distress, but just enough to feel a conscious shift. Or decide to skip a single meal, experiencing the temporary hunger and discovering that you are okay. In that small act of refusal, you are not denying yourself pleasure. You are affirming your own self-sufficiency. You are proving to yourself that your peace can remain intact even when a comfort is absent. So what minor, everyday comfort can you voluntarily forego this week to strengthen your inner ease? It might be the second cup of coffee, the constant stream of digital entertainment, or the impulse to buy something small you do not need. In that conscious choice, you reclaim a piece of your freedom from the world of things, building an inner refuge that no external circumstance can take away. Every difficult person you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see. This is the heart of Sympatheia, the Stoic understanding that all rational beings are woven into a single, interconnected whole. It is the recognition that your own well-being is tied to the well-being of others, not through sentimentality, but through the very structure of existence. When you truly grasp this, your expectations of other people begin to soften, losing their sharp edge of judgment and blame. Marcus Aurelius, who dealt with constant political intrigue and personal challenges, continually reminded himself of this truth. He wrote, "When another person's actions offend you, turn to yourself and consider what similar tendencies you might possess. For we all share the same nature, and it is only our limited perspectives that differ." He was not excusing poor behavior, but choosing to meet it with understanding rather than outrage. He saw the person who stumbled not as a villain to be condemned, but as a fellow traveler who had lost their way, someone whose own expectations and fears had clouded their judgment. Think of a time you were frustrated by a colleague's simple mistake or a stranger's brief comment. Your immediate expectation was likely that they should have known better, that they should have acted more considerately. This expectation is the source of your irritation. Now apply the lens of Sympatheia. Consider that the person who was short may be carrying a private concern, a worry you know nothing about. The coworker who made an error may be overwhelmed, still learning, or simply having a human moment, just as you have had. This is not about making excuses for them, but about freeing yourself from the frustration that their actions create in you. Your peace becomes less dependent on their behavior. How can viewing others with more compassion change your expectations of them? It transforms your inner demand that they act a certain way into a simple observation of how they are acting, allowing you to respond from a place of clarity rather than react from a place of disappointment. In this shift, you find a deeper patience, not just for others, but for your own learning self as well. We chase after more as if our happiness depends on it, yet the ancient Stoics proposed a radically different measure of wealth. True riches, they taught, lie not in having more, but in needing less. This is the art of contentment, the deliberate choice to find sufficiency in simplicity. Our culture constantly whispers that the next purchase, the next promotion, or the next experience will finally be the one that fills an inner void. But this endless pursuit only sharpens the edge of our expectations, setting us up for a cycle of temporary satisfaction followed by a new, deeper wanting. The Stoic teacher Epictetus, born into servitude and familiar with having little, framed it with piercing clarity. He said that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This is not a call to poverty, but an invitation to freedom. It is the freedom that comes when your sense of worth is no longer chained to what you own or what you have achieved. Consider the modern minimalist movement, where individuals consciously choose to own fewer items. This is not merely an aesthetic or organizational trend. It is a practical application of this very Stoic principle. By letting go of the excess, they are not losing something of value. They are reclaiming their attention, their time, and their peace from the constant management and pursuit of things. The joy they find is not in the emptiness of their space, but in the fullness of their lives, now filled with more meaningful connections and activities. This practice extends far beyond physical clutter. It applies to our hunger for status, our packed social calendars, and our endless consumption of digital entertainment. Each of these can become a form of wanting more, a subtle expectation that the next accolade or the next notification will deliver a lasting contentment that the last one did not. So where in your own life can you practice this art of enough? Is it in your closet filled with clothes you rarely wear? Is it in your schedule overflowing with commitments that drain your energy? Or is it in the quiet, constant scroll through social media, feeding an expectation of connection that leaves you feeling more isolated? Choose one small area this week. Perhaps decide that one evening will be for quiet reflection instead of more entertainment. Or notice one item you were about to buy and pause to ask if it is a genuine need or a passing want. In that conscious choice to be content with a little less, you may just discover you already have everything you need. The sharpest disappointments often arrive not from the world, but from the people closest to us. We carry invisible scripts for how our partner should show affection, how our friend should offer support, or how our colleague should acknowledge our work. When they fail to read their assigned lines, we feel a sting that is uniquely personal. This is the fertile ground for relationship tension, all rooted in the quiet demand that others should act according to our private expectations. The Stoic path offers a surprising remedy, one that shifts the entire burden of peace from their shoulders back onto our own. The teacher Epictetus provides the cornerstone for this approach, advising that when we see someone doing something we disagree with, we should remind ourselves that it seems right to them. Their actions stem from their own judgment, a realm we were never meant to command. Your tranquility is not held hostage by their behavior, but by your own perception of their behavior. Consider a simple, familiar tension. You share an important personal concern with a close friend, expecting a listening ear and thoughtful advice. Instead, they offer a quick, distracted response before changing the subject. The old, expectation-laden reaction is to feel hurt, to build a story of their indifference, to withdraw. Now apply the Stoic lens. Your duty was to communicate honestly and with care. You have fulfilled that. Their response, however, belongs entirely to their own sphere of control. Perhaps they are preoccupied with a private worry you know nothing about. Maybe their capacity for empathy in that moment was simply limited. Your peace does not depend on them meeting your unspoken script. It depends on you accepting that their actions are their own and releasing the responsibility you felt for how they should behave. So take a quiet breath and ask yourself this liberating question. What is one specific expectation I have of someone else that I can release responsibility for today? Is it the expectation for a family member to call more often? Is it the expectation for a coworker to be more organized? Simply identifying and loosening your grip on this single demand can create a spaciousness in the relationship, allowing you to interact with them as they are, not as you believe they should be. Your mind can be a fortress, unshaken by the storms of circumstance. The Stoics envisioned this inner stronghold as a sanctuary of reason, a place you build through deliberate practice until it becomes your true home. They called it the Inner Citadel, a mental space so fortified by wisdom that the changing winds of fortune cannot breach its walls. Within this space, your peace is not dependent on events conforming to your hopes. It rests on the unshakable foundation of your own character. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who faced relentless political and military pressures, wrote of this in his private thoughts. He described how the soul becomes an unassailable refuge when it turns toward its own self-sufficiency. No arrow of chance, no disappointment can truly touch it there. This is not a withdrawal from life, but a profound engagement with the only part of it you can truly command. Every time you pause before reacting to a setback, every time you question a judgmental thought, you are laying another stone in this inner structure. You are building a resilience that does not crumble when the world outside fails to meet your expectations. Think of a recent moment when an unexpected result left you feeling off balance. Now try to visualize this inner citadel. See its solid walls not as a barrier to keep life out, but as a boundary that defines what you will allow to disturb your core self. The frustration, the worry, the noise of unmet demands, they all clamor at the gate, but they cannot enter unless you grant them passage. What is one belief you can strengthen today to build your inner citadel? Perhaps it is the belief that your worth is not determined by a single outcome, or the belief that you possess the resources to handle whatever comes your way. By consciously reinforcing this single conviction, you are not just thinking a positive thought. You are actively fortifying your mind, creating a sanctuary of calm that you can return to, no matter what happens outside its walls. Anger is the echo of an expectation that reality refused to meet. It emerges when the world, or someone in it, does not follow the script we have written in our minds. The Stoics saw this fiery response not as something justified, but as a kind of temporary confusion, a surrender of our reason to a raw and unhelpful impulse. Seneca, in his thoughtful essay on anger, describes it as a brief loss of clarity, a force that sweeps over us before we can even think to resist. He writes that no influence has been more costly to human connection, for in its grip we become strangers to ourselves, capable of words and actions we would never choose in a state of calm. The crucial moment, the one that determines whether this feeling will grow or be contained, is that tiny space between what happens and how we answer. This is the Stoic pause, a deliberate insertion of a single breath, a heartbeat of awareness where we can reclaim our power of choice. Imagine you are driving and another car moves abruptly into your lane. The immediate, unchecked impression is one of personal disrespect, a break from the expectation that other drivers will be careful and considerate. The body tenses, the heat rises, and the impulse to react, to express frustration in some small way, feels almost automatic. But in that sliver of a second, if you can remember the pause, everything changes. You do not have to agree with the first thought that you have been personally wronged. You can observe the feeling, notice the physical reaction, and then choose a different path. You might consider that the other person is distracted by something urgent, or simply made a human mistake, just as you have done before. The event remains the same, but your relationship to it is transformed. The pause is the practice of inserting a question mark where an exclamation point used to be. Think back to a recent moment of frustration, perhaps a misunderstood message from a colleague or a plan cancelled at the last minute. Can you recall the exact point where the expectation was not met? What might have happened if, in that very instant, you had gifted yourself a moment of pure, silent awareness before any word was spoken or any decision was made? That small, conscious space is where your freedom from anger truly lives. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the quiet decision to act with integrity, even when your hopes have been disappointed. In the Stoic view, this virtue is not about heroic battles or grand gestures. It is the rational endurance to accept what you cannot change, and the persistent will to do what is right with the resources you still possess. Epictetus framed it with elegant simplicity, teaching that courage is a matter of enduring and renouncing, enduring all that lies outside your command and renouncing the illusion that it should have been otherwise. This is the courage of the steady flame that does not flicker when the wind blows. Consider a professional setback, a project you poured your heart into that ultimately did not succeed. The common reaction is to see it as a personal failure, a reason to pull back and play it safe next time. Stoic courage reframes this entirely. The disappointment is the thing to be endured, the external result you must accept. The courageous act is to renounce the story that this outcome defines your worth, and to persist in your efforts with the same dedication, having learned what the experience had to teach. This same principle applies to personal health challenges. A diagnosis can reshape your expectations for the future. The courage here is not in denying the difficulty, but in enduring the reality of the situation without surrendering your inner sovereignty. It is the renunciation of the question, "Why me?" and the choice to focus on the dignified management of your own well-being, moment by moment. History offers a profound example in the philosopher Socrates, who calmly accepted his unjust sentence. His courage was not in wanting to die, but in his unwavering commitment to his principles. He endured the loss of his life while renouncing the fear and bitterness that could have clouded his final hours. His peace was found in the integrity of his actions, not in the outcome he desired. So where in your own life are you being called to exercise this stoic courage right now? Is it in a creative pursuit where recognition has been slow to arrive? Is it in a personal relationship that requires difficult honesty? Or is it in simply getting out of bed each morning to meet a day you did not plan for? Your courageous act is not to erase the disappointment, but to move through it with a heart that remains open and a will that remains clear. The day is over, and the quiet of the evening offers a powerful space for reflection. This is the perfect moment for a Stoic practice known as the evening review, a gentle but deliberate audit of your thoughts and actions. Think of it not as a harsh judgment, but as a compassionate conversation with your learning self, a way to understand where your expectations served you and where they may have led you astray. In his letters, the philosopher Seneca shared his own nightly ritual. He would ask his soul where it had felt challenged, what it had overcome, and what part of the day's work remained unfinished. This simple act of looking back was his method for preparing for the days ahead, for training his mind to hold expectations more lightly. You can adopt this practice with a straightforward 3-question format. First, ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I act with patience or integrity or courage regardless of the outcome? This builds your confidence in your own character. Second, consider, where did I miss the mark? Where did a stubborn expectation cause frustration? Or where did I react from a place of unchecked emotion rather than reasoned choice? Look at this not with self-criticism, but with the curiosity of a scientist studying an interesting result. And finally, ask, what can I improve tomorrow? This is not about crafting a perfect plan, but about setting a gentle intention. Perhaps it is to pause before speaking in a moment of tension, or to release a specific demand you have of a family member. The goal is to learn, to adjust, and to gradually align your inner world with the principles of Stoic wisdom. Try this 3-question review for just 1 week. Each night, in those last few minutes before sleep, sit with these inquiries. You will likely find that you begin to carry a lighter, more observant awareness into your waking hours, catching those old expectations before they can take root and disrupt your peace. A quiet dread often accompanies the act of sharing something you have made. That moment before you reveal a piece of writing, a new painting, or a business idea is filled with the hope for public approval, a wish for validation that can feel like it defines the work's very worth. This anxiety is the shadow cast by an expectation placed on an outcome you can never truly control. The Stoic path invites you to pull your focus back from that uncertain horizon and place it firmly on the only thing that has ever been yours, the integrity of your own effort. Marcus Aurelius offered a guiding light for this very struggle, writing in his Meditations, "Let the artist or the craftsman who is not praised hold to the purpose of his own work." He understood that the true reward is not in the applause that may or may not come, but in the quiet knowledge that you have done the work to the best of your ability. Consider a writer who spends years on a novel. They can pour their soul into each sentence, crafting characters and worlds with meticulous care. The old, expectation-heavy approach would be to write while constantly imagining the book's reception, the reviews, the sales figures. Each word becomes a potential step toward either recognition or disappointment, and the creative process becomes a source of immense pressure. Now apply the Stoic lens. The writer's sole domain is the work itself, the daily discipline of showing up, the choice to refine a paragraph until it rings true, the act of expressing an idea with clarity and heart. Whether the novel becomes widely celebrated or finds only a small circle of readers is a matter of circumstance, a result that lies largely outside their command. The satisfaction must be built into the act of creation itself, in the simple, profound truth that they remain true to their craft. Think of a project you are nurturing right now, large or small. How much of your mental energy is spent anticipating its reception, its success, or its potential critique? What would shift if you consciously redirected that energy back into the quality of the effort itself, finding your fulfillment in the process of building, learning, and expressing, regardless of the final echo it creates in the world? We deeply believe that life should be fair, that hard work should be rewarded, and that kindness should be met with kindness in return. Yet the world so often presents a different picture, one where effort goes unnoticed and circumstances unfold without clear reason. This gap between our expectation of fairness and the reality we encounter is a primary source of frustration. The Stoics offered a thoughtful solution, not by demanding the world change, but by questioning the expectation itself. They observed a universe governed by rational, natural laws, but not one concerned with human ideas of justice or personal reward. To expect fairness from a cosmos that operates on its own terms is like expecting the rain to fall only where we think it should, a hope that is both understandable and ultimately not grounded in nature. The teacher Epictetus spoke directly to this human tendency, advising his students not to be surprised if a fig tree produces figs, and equally, not to be surprised by the predictable patterns of the world, including moments of imbalance. He was not condoning unfairness, but pointing out that its occurrence is part of the broader system, something we can learn to anticipate rather than struggle against. Look to the natural world for a moment. A sapling reaching for sunlight in a dense forest is not being treated unjustly. It is simply living within the conditions of its environment. History, too, is filled with brilliant minds who are overlooked in their time and visionary artists who lived without recognition. Their experience was not a universal judgment on their value, but a reflection of circumstance, timing, and the limited views of their era. When you release the demand for life to be fair, you are not giving up on justice. You are simply ceasing to take impersonal events personally. The frustration you feel when a colleague advances unexpectedly, or when a personal challenge arises without clear cause, often comes from the story you tell yourself about how things should be. Letting go of that story does not make you passive. It makes you free, opening up immense energy once spent on frustration and disappointment. Energy you can now direct toward acting with integrity, no matter the outcome. So ask yourself with gentle honesty, in what specific area of your life are you holding onto a quiet expectation of fairness that is currently causing you distress? Is it in your career path, a relationship, or your personal well-being? Simply noticing this expectation and seeing it as a choice rather than a fixed rule can be the first step toward a profound and lasting inner ease. Gratitude quietly resets the mind's compass from what is missing to what is already present. This shift is far more than a simple positive thought. It is a powerful form of cognitive reframing, a deliberate Stoic practice for managing the expectations that so often lead to disappointment. When your attention is actively held by appreciation, the restless desire for different circumstances loses its urgency. Marcus Aurelius began his own days with this very exercise, writing, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He was not ignoring life's difficulties, but consciously anchoring his perspective in the foundational gifts that fortune had already provided. A mind steeped in thankfulness has little room for the fantasy of a perfect, alternate reality. It expects less from the external world because it is already nourished by the simple, steady wonders of existence. The warmth of a morning beverage, the reliable shelter of a roof, the ability to see and hear and feel, these are not small things. They are the very substance of a life, and recognizing them shrinks our imagined needs back to their true size. This practice is a direct antidote to the hunger for more. Where disappointment whispers of lack, gratitude answers with evidence of sufficiency. Think of your own recent frustrations. How many were born from comparing your reality to an idealized version that does not exist? Gratitude ends that comparison. It asks you to find the value in what is rather than lament what is not. To weave this into your own life, try a simple nightly ritual. Before sleep, mentally note 3 specific things from your day for which you feel a genuine sense of thankfulness. They need not be grand. It could be the taste of a well-cooked meal, a moment of shared laughter, or the simple completion of a task. The act of identifying them reinforces the neural pathways of appreciation, training your brain to default to a state of recognition rather than want. Right now, in this moment, bring to mind 3 things you are grateful for, especially those connected to expectations that were quietly met or even surpassed today. Perhaps you expected traffic on your commute and found the roads clear. Maybe you anticipated a difficult interaction that turned out to be surprisingly smooth. In naming these, you are not just counting blessings, you are actively dismantling the architecture of future disappointment, building a more resilient and deeply contented peace from the ground up. The portrait of a grim-faced Stoic, endlessly enduring hardship without a smile, is a profound misunderstanding. Stoic wisdom is not a rejection of joy, but the cultivation of a perspective so steady that it can afford to be light. True resilience includes the capacity to not take every minor frustration with grave seriousness, to sometimes step back and simply laugh at the absurdity of it all. Even the serious-minded Seneca, who wrote extensively on managing difficult feelings and expectations, was known for his sharp wit and appreciation for humor's clarifying power. He understood that a well-timed laugh could provide a sudden, necessary distance from a situation, allowing reason to return where raw emotion had begun to cloud the view. It is a tool for deflating the overblown importance we so often assign to small setbacks. Think of a modern moment like spilling coffee on your shirt just before an important meeting. The immediate expectation is for everything to go smoothly, and this mishap feels like a personal affront to your day. One path leads to a chain of frustration, staining not just your clothing but your entire mood. The other path, the one infused with a little Stoic lightness, is to see the humor in the clumsy humanity of the moment. You are not a machine. Spills happen. Can you chuckle at the universality of this small disaster, clean up, and carry on with your composure not just intact, but even strengthened by your own good-natured response? That shift does not mean you are ignoring the problem. It means you are refusing to let a trivial event command a disproportionate amount of your inner peace. So look back on a recent minor letdown, where you felt the familiar pull of irritation. Ask yourself a different question. Can you find a humorous angle in that situation? What was the element of the ridiculous? In finding that small spark of lightness, you are not being frivolous. You are practicing a deep form of wisdom, one that knows which challenges are worth your energy and which are best dissolved with a smile. Our world is a constant stream of notifications and demands, yet the quietest space holds the loudest truth. Solitude is not an escape from the world, but a deliberate return to yourself, a necessary pause to recalibrate the expectations that the noise creates. In the stillness, you can finally hear the conversation you have been having with yourself all along. The relentless input from media, social feeds, and the opinions of others creates a chorus of external wants that we often mistake for our own. We absorb the pressure to achieve, to acquire, and to present a certain life, and these borrowed desires become the unrealistic expectations that quietly drain our peace. Seneca understood this profound need for retreat, writing, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a person's ability to stop just where they are and spend some time in their own company." He points to solitude not as loneliness, but as the ultimate evidence of self-sufficiency. When you can sit comfortably with your own thoughts, you are no longer so dependent on the world to entertain you, validate you, or meet your every unspoken hope. This practice strengthens your inner resources, building a reserve of calm that is not so easily shaken by external events. You can begin to weave this into the busiest of days without needing a remote cabin. It could be the 5 minutes you spend with your morning beverage, not while scrolling, but simply observing the steam rise from the cup. It might be choosing to listen to nothing during your commute, or taking a short walk without headphones, allowing your own mind to be the only companion. In these small pockets of quiet, you create a sanctuary for reflection. The goal is not to empty your mind, but to observe it with gentle curiosity. Notice the expectations that surface without immediately engaging them. See the concern about a future meeting or the wish for a particular outcome, and simply let those thoughts drift by like clouds. They lose their urgency when you stop feeding them with your attention. So, this very day, gift yourself just 5 minutes of pure, uninterrupted silence. Sit comfortably, set a timer if you like, and do nothing but breathe. When an expectation arises, acknowledge its presence without judgment, and then return to the anchor of your breath. In that simple act of withdrawal, you are not missing out on the world. You are rediscovering the one person whose expectations you can actually manage, the one whose inner ease matters most. We secretly hope the people in our lives will act as perfect extensions of our own will. We expect our partner to anticipate a need we never voiced, or a colleague to grasp a complex idea without explanation. This quiet demand for flawless understanding is a recipe for constant frustration because it asks others to be something they are not. Stoicism offers a more peaceful path, one grounded in a clear-eyed acceptance of human fallibility. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius offered a simple but profound reminder in his private writings. When you wake up in the morning, he advised, tell yourself that the people you meet today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and jealous. He was not promoting cynicism but preparing his own heart for reality. He continued, saying that none of these faults can truly touch you, for no one can force you to adopt them, and the choices they make belong to their own character, a realm you were never meant to govern. Think of a family member whose behavior is as predictable as the sunrise. Perhaps they are always late, or they consistently offer unsolicited advice. Your expectation for them to suddenly become punctual or to remain silent is a form of struggle against their very nature. Every time you feel that familiar spike of irritation, it is a signal that you are expecting the impossible. The frustration is not caused by their lateness alone, but by your unyielding expectation that they should be different. releasing that expectation does not mean you approve of the behavior. It means you stop letting it command your inner state. You can still make practical choices like setting an earlier meeting time, but you do so from a place of calm strategy, not from a place of simmering resentment. So who in your life can you practice accepting more fully with all their beautiful, imperfect humanity? Is it the friend who always seems distracted, or the coworker who communicates in a way that grates on you? See if you can, just for today, meet them where they are, not where you believe they should be. In that conscious release, you grant both of you the grace to be human. Our modern world thrives on the promise of instant results, yet the deepest transformations refuse to be rushed. This friction between our desire for speed and the slow, organic pace of genuine growth is a primary source of inner turmoil. The ancient Stoics held patience not as a passive waiting, but as an active, intelligent alignment with the natural unfolding of time. When you expect a seedling to become a mighty oak in a single season, you are not just setting yourself up for disappointment. You are fighting against the very laws of nature, and in that struggle, your peace is the first casualty. Impatience is the frustration that arises when your internal clock does not match the rhythm of reality. The philosopher Seneca touched on this with profound clarity in his letters, observing that time is a resource we all possess equally, but few know how to spend wisely. He wrote that while we are always concerned about its shortness, we often allow it to slip away as if we had an endless supply. This is the heart of the matter. Our haste, our frantic push for quick results, is often a mismanagement of our attention, a wasteful spending of our present moments on anxiety about a future that has not yet arrived. Consider the stark difference between a towering redwood and a common weed. The weed sprouts almost overnight, visible and immediate, but it is fragile, easily uprooted by the first strong wind. The redwood grows with an almost imperceptible slowness, its roots delving deep into the earth over centuries, creating a foundation that can withstand the fiercest storms. Your own character, your skills, your deepest relationships, they are all like the redwood. They demand the patience to build layer upon layer of strength and wisdom. The expectation for immediate mastery in a new craft, or for a strained bond to heal in a single conversation, is like expecting a sapling to provide shade tomorrow. It places an impossible demand on the process, creating a constant background noise of frustration that disturbs your inner quiet. So take a gentle, honest look at one change you are working toward right now. What is the one goal where you feel that subtle pressure for it to be achieved already? Is it a new habit you are trying to form, a creative project, or a personal quality you wish to embody? How can you consciously practice patience with it this week, not by doing less, but by releasing the demand for a specific timeline and trusting the quiet, steady work of growth itself? The obstacle is the way. This famous phrase captures a radical Stoic truth that the very barriers we resent are the materials we need to build a better self. A challenge is not a detour from your path, it is the path itself, offering the exact training your character requires to grow stronger. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius expressed this with stunning clarity in his private meditations. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He was not denying the reality of hardship, but revealing its hidden purpose. Every unmet expectation, every frustrating delay, is an invitation to practice a specific virtue, whether it is patience, courage, or creative problem solving. Consider the philosopher Seneca, who was sent to the island of Corsica by the Emperor Claudius. He could have seen this as a difficult close to his political influence and intellectual life in Rome. Instead, he reframed it. His time away became a period of profound literary productivity and philosophical refinement. the obstacle of his relocation became the way he produced some of his most lasting and influential works. He used the quiet and simplicity to deepen his understanding and his writing, turning a personal challenge into a legacy of wisdom. This is the alchemy Stoicism teaches, transforming everyday difficulties into golden opportunities for growth. So look at a current obstacle in your own life, a situation where your expectations have been thoroughly unmet. Perhaps it is a professional rejection or a personal conflict. Now ask yourself this transformative question: how can this very impediment become my way forward? What virtue is it asking me to practice? Is it teaching me resilience, patience, or perhaps a deeper compassion for others facing their own struggles? Your greatest difficulty right now is not a wall stopping your progress. It is the gate, and you hold the key. Your inner ease has always been waiting just beyond the reach of your expectations. The journey we have taken together reveals a simple but life-changing truth. Peace is not something you find by rearranging the world to match your hopes. It is something you build by mastering your relationship with those very hopes. The Stoic path offers a timeless map for this inner work, guiding you from the frustration of unmet demands toward a profound and resilient tranquility. Remember the foundational distinction of the dichotomy of control, which teaches you to invest your energy only in what is truly your own. Recall the transformative power of Amor Fati, the love of fate that invites you to embrace every outcome as necessary material for your growth. Think back to the anchoring practice of staying in the present moment, where anxiety about the future loses its grip. Each of these principles works in harmony, training your mind to hold expectations lightly and to meet reality with clarity rather than conflict. The philosopher Epictetus offers a final, unifying thought that captures this entire journey. He said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want, but instead want them to happen as they do, and your life will go well." This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. It is the shift from struggling against the current of life to finding your strength and peace by swimming with it. Your path to greater inner ease begins with a single, conscious choice. Which one practice from our exploration will you commit to in the coming week? Will it be the evening review of your expectations, the premeditation of difficulties to soften their impact, or perhaps the simple, daily return to the anchor of your breath? Choose one and begin. We would love to hear how these Stoic principles are shaping your life. Share your experiences and discoveries in the comments below. If you found this guidance valuable, subscribe for more content on living with wisdom, purpose, and unshakable